Hello and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. I'm Luce, and after my internet provider decided to have some maintenance and stuff the other day, I am now back. So, last time I did the main storyline, but there's a major one that still needs to be done, and that is the 24-player Alliance raid. And that is unlocked here, another worldly encounter. This Hubigo messenger is looking for a well-traveled adventurer. Say, aren't you Coda? That certainly saves a lot of trouble. I was asked to find you on behalf of Milalja. Curious happenings around in Mamook as of late. We thought with one of your worldly experience might be able to help us make sense of things. If you have time and inclination, she awaits you in Mamook. You'll find her west of the plaza in a large building near the two-headed statue. That's good to me. I could just walk there, but why when I can teleport? Oops. Huh. Ah. Yeah, that's a two-headed statue there. Yeah, I appreciate that they added the ability to make these vanish. Make people vanish when you're near a quest NPC, otherwise this might be a little annoying. I could have waited till less people were here, so it might be a little less immersion breaking, but this is an important thing to grind for reasons that'll become obvious soon enough. Thank you for coming. Truth be told, I wasn't sure if I was right to call on you, but the troubles we now face cannot be overcome with awe strength alone. What's come up? It all began when we found a fallen traveler in the sky-deep Canody. For a mercy, his wounds were not life-threatening. His kind is not a common sight in these lands, tall and slender with pointed ears. He has yet to awaken, but the strange speaks in his sleep of strange things that make a little sense to us. Well, people around the sky-deep Canode do seem to have weird visions, that's for sure. It was our hope they might recognize something in his ramblings, or perhaps even jog his memory. Might you be willing to speak with him? Leave it to me, I'll figure something out, I'm sure. Worst case scenario leads to some giant boss that I need to slice up, but we all have chores to do. Milalja, the traveler stirs. Very good. If you'd be so kind as to bring him here. Well, that would be nice, rather than having me walk around to talk to someone else again. I see. The Elysian gentleman, I see. We are glad to see you awake and in good health besides. May I ask your name, traveler? My name, Amnesia? Sorry, I can't remember. Unfortunately, a hero class... Unfortunately, Amnesia is definitely standard hero class trope, so I'll need you to fill out these forms and get back to me within the week, and we can get you something to last until then. It would seem his fall has affected his memory. In any case, his presence here is a complete mystery to us. His armor is the only hint as to where he has whence came. Does anything about him strike you as out of the ordinary? That doesn't look too far off from Eorzean attire, I suppose. That's all the way from across the salt, though. Looks like a typical adventure to me. Doesn't look too different from any Elysian I've met, or would that be Eldite here? Right, because there's regional names for each species. As an Eldritite. No, that's not quite right. Ah. Whoa, got some, painkillers? I remember, I'm an Elvan adventurer. I was gonna say, is that what the first calls them? But no, the first just straight up calls them elves. In some ways, the first is refreshingly simple things, because the, Elysian are just elves. The Lalafell are just dwarves. It gets a bit weird for stuff like Makode, because those are just Mistel, but, Makode were always a bit of a unique one. Well, like I said, there's regional names, so you're Momulja. Maybe I've come to Mamuk. Wait, if I'm Mamuk, I must have been taken prisoner? So readily believes us enemies. Perhaps he came from a land unfamiliar with our customs. It is possible. Eorzea thought the Mamulja were, not particularly bright. Granted, that stereotype was largely one the Mamulja themselves had cultivated. Yeah, that's the right word. Cultivated by playing it as being not as intelligent as they really were. So, which does work, because it means people aren't going to think highly, and thus makes it easy to get the drop on them. He could be from Eorzea. As mentioned, the Mulja there do specifically play the fool to cultivate a... We've no way to know for certain. Milja, we must gather our strongest fighters at once. What's happened? Galul Jaja's shade has returned. Its return was sighted near Gokdrak descent. Bakul has engaged in the operation, but I fear the worst. Galul, that... the vow of Resolve's companion from the feet of Brotherhood. I suspect you'd understand the graveness of the situation better than most. The vow... yeah, I need to be there. In recent days, the late Dawn Servant Shade has been seen wandering the woods of Yaktel. I have reason to believe it was invoked in a manner similar to one used in the feat itself. Only a privileged few of Weibo Buniwa should be privy to the knowledge required to perform the rite. The culprit could be found in time, but we have a much more pressing matter at hand. So kind of like when Breaking Bad had someone break into the school locker, but only 3 people had the key. Shouldn't be too hard to find who was summoned out of the group, but... I must hurry and inform the Landsguard. Bakul Jaja requires reinforcements. Well, the good news is, while Bakul Jaja isn't exactly the brightest around, he's still legitimately powerful. I mean, he won a tournament arc off-screen to participate in the Rite of Succession, after all. The Dawns have been shade. I fear he may not hold out until the god assembles. I loathe to ask such a favor. Would you aid Bakul? Of course. I'm in your debt. Gokdrak descent is the west of here. Please go and help my son. He may be powerful, but Galul was still a hero even among other heroes. Not unlike ourselves, honestly, so it's better that we be there to help. Galul, Jaja. He sees the sword and shield specifically. Was he a paladin? A paladin... An elven paladin would not be an unusual sight if we're honest. Well, it depends on the kind. Paladins in this game are holy warriors, but they're more of elite soldier types rather than specifically tied to any religion. If you want the more cleric-y type of character, White Mage is a bit closer, since that's tied to the hippie nature, or attuned with the elementals sort of thing. I wonder if this is the right area. Gwa. Bakul is genuinely powerful, but even just the shade of Galul is on a whole other level. pathetic. You dare call yourselves blessed siblings. Not bad. You might actually provide a challenge. If you've come to help Bastander God, because he is not alone. He's not alone, is he? Must be high-level monk gear. What's this? Another monster in need of slaying? Don't worry, I'll send them packing. Here I go. I've fought monks in PvP before. Nullifying dropkick. Oh no, you don't. Can't explain why, but something told me I had to be here. I appreciate it. I always hate it how when monks in PvP will always folk jump on me and then just drop their limit break on me out of nowhere. Then follow me for ages. It's just very frustrating. Not bad at all. But it'll take more than a couple Taurus to stop me. Taurus, are you daft, girl? You can speak, a shame you don't seem to have any manners. Name's Prish, and you do well to remember it. Prish. I probably could have blocked it with my scythe or something. Ha! Looks like I win! I see, there's something blocking their vision. One Taurus down, another to go. Hope you're ready. At ease, Prish. We've seen to our task. Come. Whatever you say, Olmia. Olmia? What is she talking about? Something is specifically blocking vision. And rather giving illusions. Wait, please. Prish, don't go. I'm guessing where the Dawn Servant Shade brought you here. I don't know what the girl has to do with all of this, but she's clearly aligned with whoever summoned them. Yeah, as a quick recap, at the end of Dawntrail's main story, Bakul was conscripted into the Landsguard to help protect the Skydeep Canody in order to make up for what he did during the events of the main story. The way remains open, though there's no telling where it leads. Even so, they can't be allowed to return. We have a duty to protect this forest, not stay torn apart by some two-headed imposter. Let us hurry to them, brother. Brother, watch over that one, won't you? Prish, what's happened to you? Hey buddy, you alright? Guess the least I can do is make sure that you're okay. Haven't heard this song before. Everything's still hazy, but I recall fighting alongside that girl. We were comrades in arms once. But something's clearly wrong with her. She not only mistook me for a monster, but she called that two-headed companion Olmia. The Olmia I know is an elven woman, a far cry from the reptilian fiend we encountered. Something dark's taken a hold of her, clouded her mind. I must go, and You're not going anywhere with those wounds. I'll have to go. But she needs me. Yeah, that's all more reason than I need to go then. You would go my stead. I know not how to thank you. I recognize that look, the eyes of man who's seen more than his fair share of battle. Despite what Prish has done, she's a dear friend to me. That I'm certain. Okay, so she's being controlled in some fashion, or tricked. Have care, friend, there's no telling what lies beyond that portal. At least this means we know that she's not intentionally a villain. Oh my, already? Usually there's a bit of more setup first. I was expecting the townsfolk to be indifferent if not hostile when I asked for a Horde and Shield, but they did not hesitate to send me on my way. I think I've always been accustomed to such armaments, though. Once recovered, I should be able to put them to use at your side. Well, I appreciate it. As a DPS, anything that keeps the enemy from making me do stuff other than just deal more damage is appreciated. Let me grab a sip of my drink and we'll queue up. Where? Now, I have not gone into this yet, but I am aware it has a reputation for being surprisingly difficult. My guess is that they noticed the complaints that the Myths of the Realm, the 24-player raid from Endwalker was criticized for being too easy. The story was generally universally liked. It's just that it had nothing spicy, nothing tricky, nothing that would cause any sort of level of challenge. I don't think we'll have to wait the 11 minutes it predicts. The nice thing about an Alliance raid is because so many DPS are required for it, it's actually surprisingly one of the fastest queues a DPS player can go for. Granted, the dungeons are also take a little bit longer, but the rewards are amplified to compensate, so it's up to you, really. Personally, I'm glad I got most of my grinding and leveling my DPS with the Fate grinds I was going for. I think I mentioned it somewhere else, but yeah, Dawntrail did a lot to buff Fate grinding in the general sense, so it was really nice that I was able to get most of my DPS there while also getting my adorable sugar glider here. It took me well over a month of grinding for this, and believe me, for some of those I was going for large portions of the day. Not as much as some others. Like, I know some who've gotten it within like 2 or 3 2 weeks, but I unfortunately don't have that level of free time. But nonetheless, I was able to get. It's all definitely one of the appeals of an MMO when you can do a long-term grind like that and come out feeling, oh yeah, I earned this, baby. I guess by extension you could also say it got me the Outrunner mount, since by getting all my jobs kept out I got that reward. Here we are, Juno, the first walk. I hope it's Juno and not Ueno or something, because I am no good at a lot of these names. It's probably going to remain popular for the remainder of the expansion just because the drops are going to be relevant. Juno, the first walk. We seem to be in a town in a completely unrelated area, and a bunch of other people with me. Alrighty. My portrait's a little silly, but I like it. Goblin replica. You know, I don't know why I use this when I'm pretty sure these guys aren't gonna take very long to die at all. But oh well. Didn't think she'd be so quick to trade blows.
Careful. That girl is stronger than she looks.
Got it. No holding back. Well, the good news is I need not hold back. 16 seconds. That I'm gonna lose Perfectio. That is mildly frustrating, but I get it. 16 seconds is usually the standard wait time for dancers to maximize their opener.
How about we start with a big fat knuckle sandwich?
Push the distant chains.
Here we go! Wait for it!
There we go. Oh, so it's like the nice. That's a good thing good thing I did the Ruins of Silda first.
Wait for it! Wait for it!
Okay, so that's going to be a third. Okay, so the amount of time she said wait for it determines how far. Okay, good to know.
Nervine drop kick to your fat head! Altana, give me strength!
Altana? Never heard of that. I have no idea what this mechanic is. I'm sure it won't be difficult.
By the light of the dawn! Not bad! Not bad at all!
Now I can finally get to use Perfectio.
Getting started!
Sounds like that might be something I might want to mitigate. Okay, it isn't. How disappointing.
Wait for it! Wait for it! Wait for it!
Oh dear.
Aurora uppercut!
Oh, I get it. Unfortunately, I messed that up bad.
Is that all? And I was just working up an appetite. Behold, the blessed power of Altana.
Okay, so yeah, I need to mark those based on how far she's gonna push me and make sure I land on a safe zone.
Still kicking?
Or at least the
It's
spikes
so
and not
alive.
the pit. Alright. This isn't a very difficult fight, I'm just a complete ignoramus. I wish to state that for the record. Of course, that
You
doesn't
ready
mean
for
later.
this?
The first one's always pretty easy. Even the most difficult one of all was never the first one.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Open your eyes. This should do it. Take this and that and one of these.
Hey, I just got my 2-minute burst back, buddy. You're not going anywhere.
Now we're having a party.
Perfectio. Alright, so it's going to be this. Oops.
You can't stop the flood of mortal existence.
I can at least get some healing back with this.
I'm not done yet.
The nice thing about I may have a fixed number of hits, but that's still a lot of healing coming in.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
That should be safe.
Auroral uppercut.
Ha! I made it. The end.
That was a good one.
It's just, I can help mitigate that a little.
And that. And one of these.
No good. I probably should have saved it in case until we got a healer up, but at the same time, I thought maybe if we kill it fast enough, it wouldn't be irrelevant. Yeah, C and B also has all their healers down.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Nullifying dropkick.
Ah, the tank used an invuln to take them by himself. Clever. Alright, note to self, be wary about using the LB for damage. Then again,
This wasn't how it was supposed to go.
Have a bone to pick with you. The only way out is forward. A forest, huh?
my understanding is the Archangel's outfit is based off of a set from Final Fantasy XI. Actually, I suppose if we're diving into here, I shouldn't be coy.
We'll look after the girl.
Yeah, this raid was advertised as being a huge throwback to Final Fantasy XI. Which makes sense, there's been more than a few. Look, Crystal Tower, a lot of people think Crystal Tower is tied to Shadowbringers, but in reality it's actually... Oh darn, I guess the tanks were hoping to... Oh no, they can! Nice.
What is that? Is some kind of Tural Vidral?
Crap, I was using a little early.
On your guard. I sense something up ahead. Something big.
It's always gonna be something big, isn't it?
A dragon! But surely it's no match for you.
Well, we had a full expansion dedicated to these, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. Fafnir the Forgotten. I recall some speculation that might have been Nid Nidhogg, because that Nidhogg used that model in 11, but obviously they can't do it for this game because Nidhogg is kind of an important character to 14, and they don't want to confuse people. The problem is, Fafnir is also going to confuse people because Fafnir was a boss in Eureka. Aha! Have I mentioned how much I love the tools Reaper has? Oops. Stun. This will be interesting because Reaper was not a job in Final Fantasy XI. There's not even anything close. I believe, to my understanding, Dark Knights were the ones who primarily used scythes and great swords in that game, so there was no need for one dedicated to it. Darn, I was a little too slow to the uptake there. Yeah, I'm gonna die to that. There's nothing. It was impossible to make it in time, even if I teleported. I've mentioned it several times, but it bears repeating because it's not as safe foe as you might think. All the blink and teleport abilities in this game don't actually warp you there, as in skipping over everything between. Instead, it simply acts like you ran across that area really, really fast. The ad phase. Not as many bosses with ad phases these days. Back in Heaven's Ward, every boss had at least one ad phase because Dark Knights had a skill called Soul Survivor that gave them a nice boost if something died. It was an enemy debuff that also gave you a nice bonus if they died before it ended. Obviously, that led to a lot of annoying limitations. Yeah, I can't safely get into melee range with this. Ah, crap, and I completely mistimed that. My uptime is horrendous, but I don't want to die. A dead DPS deals 0 DPS. And yes, I know I'd have already died. That doesn't change that I don't want to make the same mistake over and over. Well, I mitigated the rest of my abilities. Looks like it worked, though. Absolute terror. That's terror. Number 1, that's terror. Number 2, darters gather at the Eyrie. Well, from the looks of it, I want as many of these things to die as possible. Hey, more things to die, though, also adds to my ability, though. Oh yeah, killing all the darters made that a lot easier. Damn it, I've lost. wondering why I was so antsy to get the limit break before, it's because I've done so many of these alliance raids where nobody touches the darn thing.
Teleportation magic. Ah, brace yourselves.
Someone else is warping us. But why? And where?
Aye, so where are we now? And what are these floating ruins?
Interesting, the teleportation was effect on our screen rather than, don't need it. I might consider some casting gear, I guess, but for now... Yeah, I should let the casters prioritize that stuff. The good news is I have the full tome gear for my main Reaper, so I don't need to worry about it going forward. I'm sure nobody will mind if I look at the leather-bound memo. Damn it, this path should led straight to Volaganon Palace. I'm gonna be late for the spawn at this rate. Ideally, the caster should probably be limit breaking this, but whatever. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. There's no point in min-maxing on the first week. Nobody knows what's going on anywhere. Yeah, there's no excuse for me dying on Prish, but the dragon was definitely... But Fafnir was definitely a step up.
There's something about that big tower.
Looks pretty neat. Clearly we should examine it and totally not expect things to go wrong. The Despot. Oh my. Yeah, see, someone decided to use it right. Slice and dice. A teleporter, just like in Azizla. What did that do? I see. The pedestal of passage springs to life.
5 of them? This should be interesting.
Archangels. I don't know anything about these except vaguely they're supposed to represent the evil within each race. Probably ties into the overall themes 11 has. Who's targeting me? Why are you targeting me? Dueling a decisive battle. I see, they want me to fight my special...
You shall be burned by the rage that controls you.
Damage from those who are not part of the same hero is nullified. Dueling decisive battle. Damage from who have not been dubbed the Volunteer Hero is nullified. Yeah, I got Y. I'm Volunteer Hero. Fate of Villain.
You shall be consumed by the cowardice that binds you.
Meteor. That says it can be interrupted, so yeah. Fiddlesticks.
You shall be twisted by the envy that drives you.
I probably want something. The guillotine. Something tells me I want to be behind this one. Yeah, I figured. Alright, so yeah, basically all these guys' outfits are the ones.
You shall be smothered by the arrogance that consumes you.
Nobody seems to be attached to me. Huh. Was the a twin blade job in 11? I genuinely don't know. I know Viper is another one that's completely original to 14. Unless it's vaguely based upon Zidane and his fighting style, but he was not in an FF game with proper jobs.
You shall be defeated by the apathy that plagues.
I'm going, as you can guess, I did not look up a guide here whatsoever, so this could be interesting. I'm not sure if the one we're supposed to attack matters to any degree, but...
Lesbian ghosts!
Sounds like they represent the 7 deadly sins or something.
Cowardice dismembers!
Also, I do like a boss fight with multiple parts like this because it means AoEs have a bit more relevance. Uh-oh, I just lost crap. Me and that, Me and that other Reaper screwed each other because I didn't get my, crap. It doesn't matter. I couldn't get my,
You shall be consumed.
Long story short, the Reaper's party buff does not stack. If both of them are cast, one overwrites the other. And if one of them overwrites it before the other gets any stacks for Harvest Moon here, for Plentiful Harvest here, you don't get the free end shroud, which means you lose a whole bunch. This is why it's important to stagger your arcane circles if there's multiple Reapers in a party. Yeah, looks like C's healers are down. A lost one, but they still have another up. This one actually does feel challenging but fair. Basically, each one has their own mechanics to do, so... You just have to juggle them. Plus, it actually gives reason for there to be 3 tanks instead of just 1 or 2, like in most of these, so... Yeah, I'd say this is where it's probably starting to get hard.
Apathy strikes!
Well, that was the worst possible timing I could have been raised at. But that's not on the white mage, that's on me for not waiting home before going up when I knew it was safe. Oh, crap, our machine, yeah, I saw that our machine is disconnected, yeah.
You shall be consumed by the cowardice that binds you.
Well fought. Wuklamat chose her companions well. Our next destination.
Nah.
No doubt a warm reception awaits us.
I've already got it. I've actually got a
Let's go
strong...
and have a look.
Since I augmented my... The first one...
Why only you?
What the? Why only you? What's going on here? We're at the top of the tower. I'm sure this is a pretty easily recognizable thing if you played 11, but I have not. Kindred Rage, the Shadow Lord. Oh no.
Come, mortals. Allow me to show you the depths of my hatred and your folly!
Oh no. The intrusive thoughts win. Oh, Shadow Lord, I love you, Shadow Lord. Come over here. Give Whis a big sloppy kiss, Shadow Lord. I'm sorry, I just had to. Wow, someone just died instantly.
I cannot die! Not until I have eradicated you and your kind from this world!
I get the sense I want to be on the inside here. I mean, I don't play 14, but I have played Nier, and I know plenty of good Nier quotes.
Frail mortals! I will tear your flesh and crush your bones!
Alright, first that side. Alright, so this side's safe, then the outside is safe. Alright, yeah, implosion is, oh.
Flames of hatred! Oh, how they burn! There will be naught left of man but smoke and ash!
Thank you, White.
Let the fires rise and rage! Kneel before me! Your demise shall portend the extinction of Altana's vile progeny!
Oh, come on! I was... Damn server ticks. Okay, I definitely want to be in here. Oh, did I get it
The
wrong?
darkness within me shall devour you all!
Chthonic Fury. At least my team got the buff, I guess.
This insult! I will scour it away with your blood! Give up your painful strivings! Give in to the darkness of oblivion!
I have no idea what that is.
Your funeral dirge has begun! Its mournful notes sing of your demise!
I see. He was playing around with it before, and now he's actually taking the fight seriously.
Return to the feculent soil that birthed you!
What's this? Saber's armor? Lord Unshadowed, revealing true power. Damage dealt is increased. Ah, I got it right.
Spate of my rage quenches the candle of your trivial existence.
Alright, so this side is safe. The opposite side is safe. And this side's safe. Ha! Got it. Come on, I warped out of that. Yeah, they definitely heard that the missile run was too easy, and so they made sure that that mistake wouldn't happen again. Don't get me wrong, this guy is nowhere near Thunder God Sid's level, but he's definitely at least Ozma level. Echoes of Agony. Oh, C's healers are down. C's healers are down.
I will crush you like the insects you are! Until the fires of wrath consume me!
Pulse of life. I messed up real bad. Ugh, I'm awful. Crack, crack. Alright.
The land trembles before my might!
I don't know. Here. Yeah, I think,
Kneel before me! Your demise shall portend the extinction of Altana's vile progeny!
Mark, I was hoping that wasn't his end rage. It might be a soft one, though. Look, he's got an attack and speed up, which is usually a kind of a soft rage. There we go. Phew, we got him. Juno, the first walk complete. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Nano Lord. The land probably won't tremble for his might. Tattered sheet music in an unfamiliar format. Huh. Yeah, the tank's probably gonna need that because that's really good. no idea what that's gonna do, but let's give it a try. There's also... yes, Ordel's... I'll just keep that then. The Shadow Lord. Oh, the tank left, so he didn't want that. I've got a pretty good shot at it, but I've lost rolls 90 plus before. Believe it or not, I've even lost a roll of 99, because if someone gets a 99 but is higher in the queue, they get it. There we are. That I can make into a nice glamour set, actually. Town? We're back at the town. Including what looks like a guard. Those seem to be... oh, a good thing I brought Nier up, because those look like shades. Are you alright? Yeah, I have no idea who that Shadow Lord guy was, but I took out him and presumably the entire population of shades along with him. Like I said, I have no idea about 11 at all, so I can only go with some other Square Enix property, and Nier is the closest that has, because it also has a Shadow Lord. She's sleeping. It remains to be seen if she'll give us a fight when she wakes. Ah, she stirs. Two-headed lizard trying to take a bite out of me, I score anything like you would barely even be a snack. Besides, we don't eat people. I'm sorry, I'm just a little on edge. If you've no quarrel with us, then we've nothing with you. We only wish to talk. Can they really be trusted? Yeah. They've done made a few mistakes, but they aren't terrible people at heart. I should know better than to judge people based on their appearance. It's fine. We're an intimidating specimen. By design, as it turns out. I'm Krish, by the way. Nice to meet you. Today's been full of surprises. There is much of this we don't understand, but we do understand is the battle is won, for now at least. What would have been a struggle proved to be a decisive victory against Dawn's Seven Shade and the rest of those fiends. What would have otherwise been a struggle to prove a decisive victory. Thank you for your help, Kuna. Oh wait, first, what's McCool say? Hopefully this girl can give us some answers. Krish is almost definitely probably certain you're standing in Juno. Now, what were your names again? Just call me Coda Blue. Just Coda's fine. And Bakul Jaja, is that correct? Wait, a male Mythra? Well, now I've seen everything. Oh. Yeah, I believe the, Mythra, the cat race, in 11, you could only play as female ones. Much like when 14 first dropped and you could only play as female... Makoti, although Realm Reborn just added males for the sake of completing them. I also believe the Rogan equivalent, the Galka, were male only, kind of. I don't know, a friend described as they're technically sexless because they don't reproduce exactly. They kind of just, when they get really old, they go up a mountain, and then later people find a child come out of the mountain there, so I guess they just kind of rebirth themselves somehow. Granted, male Makodi are still, technically speaking, not very common. Actually, they're a lot less common in the game now. Quite a few end up changing to the Vera males afterward, which are also supposed to be. If you're done with the small talk, would you mind explaining why you attacked us? What in the world are you talking about? Don't play fool with us. You were spouting nonsense about being Taurus and nearly killed a man on your rampage. Well, I do recall fighting a Taurus to protect Olmia. Olmia? Yeah, that's what she called the Shade. A friend of hers, you say? That's all well and good, but she was addressing Galulala as Shade by that name. Incantations needed to summon it are said to be based on a much older magic, one capable of clouding people's minds. If our enemy is skilled enough to summon Galul, Jaja, it stands to reason such tricks are not beyond them. Meaning young Prishia was likely tricked into believing the Shade was this Ulmia person. So it was an illusion then. It's starting to come back to me. There was someone who warned me a dear friend needed my protection. He was blue like your left head and gave me these bizarre weapons. Blue like me? I usually fight with my fists, but didn't think twice to accept what they gave me. I suppose their magic's to blame. In any case, I hope the real Olmia has been pulled into this. Can you tell us anything about the one you once thought was your Olmia? Where they may be hiding, perhaps? Would that I could, but when he got here, I was all by my lonesome. Here being where exactly? Yeah, as you notice, we're not exactly from around here. Juno, or at least I think this is Juno. There's never anything like that here before. It's mostly empty, but there's a few people lingering around if you know where to look. Maybe they can tell us something. Go with Prish and see what you can learn of this place and the whereabouts of that Shade. We'll remain here and keep watch on this rift. I sense something foul on the winds here. The sooner we leave this place, the better. Yeah, if I remember right, the way it works for Makodi society is they usually have a lion-like society where there's a dominant male that that commands the others, but the females do most of the hunting and such, while the other males mostly just prepare to try and challenge to become the next leader. I like to headcanon that my own character didn't kind of like how that works, because he wanted to be a hunter with the others, be where the action is, and that's led to his being a bard in the Realm Reborn. Started with archery, since that's the obvious hunting skills he'd have learned before leaving. Obviously, obviously his name isn't very lore-friendly. The character name I chose is loosely based upon Kamen Rider Gaim, and my general thought is that he renamed himself when he got back to Eorzea, but didn't exactly know how it worked properly, so he got the name wrong. I might change a few things. Might change where the apostrophe is to be in front of the K, after the K, like a proper Makode name. The last name wouldn't fit, but again, he renamed himself when he left, so that's kind of the point. And oh dang, my equipment's in shambles. Oh, whatever. I've got some tank gear, and I've been moonlighting as a tank lately, so it does work. Plus, it's nice for glams, so that'll be good as well. Yeah. Yeah. I guess in that way, the role quests were actually very good for my character, since it required going on new adventures to recover lost relics from evildoers. Very much that sort of thing. And of course, sadly, when I changed mains from... I was gonna joke that I'm one of those jerks who changes mains every expansion, but that's not quite true. In fact, I was actually Bard for most of the Heavensward main story, but that was... I know some people are coming back saying that was when the game was best designed, but I strongly disagree. Bowmage was the least amount of fun I've ever had on a job in this game. And also, I don't think the jobs were very differentiated in Heavensward either. Basically, everything had like a 1 30-second dot. DPS had a secondary, much shorter dot. A 10% damage increase. You had to do your 1-2-3 combo to keep active at all times. They were homogenized pretty hard, unfortunately. Stormblood is the time when the meters and stuff started getting everyone more different, but unfortunately, it's kind of starting to crop up as an issue again. Whether that's better or for worse than say, my understanding is that Final Fantasy XI had a lot of really cool ways you can customize your characters and such in the game, at the cost that it had no balance. I mean, some were just, like, I mentioned, if you watch my main story stream for this patch, you might recall that at one point I pointed out that many consider Reaper to be underperforming. That's only a few percentages. I've played MMOs where underperforming meant something like 30% less than the next best one, which is, a different standard. Again, not saying they're wrong, just different standards. And 11 is definitely one of those where the break is a huge percentage. And there's a lot of questions there, especially since a lot of popular favorites like Dragoon were really bad, to my understanding. I know they buffed it several times, and supposedly they're really good now in the state the game currently is in, but remember that it took a while to get that point. I'm sorry, I should continue the story here. Right then, let's have a look around. Oh, we should probably stop by Tenshoto as well. It's back at the Neptune Spire, across from the fountain. Krish is now accompanying you. Fuck. I've only visited Juno a handful of times when I need a place to lay low, maybe lick my wounds once or twice. I always enjoyed my time here. Met quite a few interesting people along the way. Ooh, oh good, I was hoping to run into you two. I don't wish to be overly forward, but why are you speaking with that Mamulja? More importantly, what are you doing here? They would never dare venture far beyond the shores of Araja unless, by gods, has Galul Jaja laid siege to Arajin? Is Juno the next to fall? I don't know about the siege or invasions, but that Mamulja over there is a friend of mine. They ain't nothing for you to worry about. This poor man's probably more confused than we are about all this. I do hope Serpent General Liapo is alright. When A Realm Reborn dropped, I am of the understanding that a very large portion of it was recycled from 11, largely because the original 1.0 had the same director. Welcome, Alduin. Help? Cordial Shade. I think this might be an inn of some sort. Welcome, Chamber of Commons. We assist job labor. I'm guessing this is where you either got a quest or maybe... I don't know how jobs worked, because in that game, your job was not tied to a weapon or job stone. You just equipped it, I think. But you could max everything on one character like you can in this game. I do know that. It just took a lot longer because that's Ultima Online tier levels of what goes way back. But good news is I am familiar with Ultima Online and how things worked back then, including why it sucked ass. So, auction house questions and past a great wealth. Talk about the shuttered windows. Adventurers are gathered from all corners of the world to buy and sell their spoils here. Taxes are a pain, but it's worth it with a wide selection. Just between you and me, though, I've heard you can cut a good deal with merchants peddling their wares just outside of town. But why is it closed? The auction house never closes. Maybe they're waiting for things to turn back to normal? Whenever they reopen, I suggest you stop by. Who knows, you may get lucky and find something way below market price. I've done that a few times, that's for sure. Like when Seryu's katana was brand new, I got it for like 100k when it was selling for like 500k at the time. It's to this day, it's still part of my samurai glam. In fact, I can show it off right now. I love my samurai glam. It's definitely one of my favorites, and ever since the Dawntrail changes, I've liked samurai significantly more. Like, it'd probably be a good contender for main if I wasn't so in love with Reaper. Human venture. You're new to Juno, aren't you? I can tell by the way you're taking the sights. The city was built upon Heaven's Bridge, connecting two great continents of Quan and Mindartia. There's one upper and lower level, a port and administrative plaza. At least you would have before. Always in and out of lower Juno appear to be blocked or cut off. The situation here must be worse than I thought. So I take it that's not, it's pretty not normal for that. Hey, okay, can I have monsters Paris recorded Dale? Pass my love so shy. I am patrol. Interesting, so some of these are alive and others are not, is what I'm getting out of this. Peculiar goblin. Sheet music. Interesting. I see. So in order to get any of these Vana'diel, any of these 11 Final Fantasy 11 songs, I have to do the raid. Interesting, interesting. Solemn Shade. Party looking dark samurai dragoon. Yeah, like I said, from my understanding, Dragoon was a fan favorite, but it sucked, so people didn't let in parties. I kind of know how that feels, maining something that is generally considered not worth having. I also remember the infamous samurai being a tank when it was meant to be a DPS. 14 decided to be a DPS for different reasons, but they did mention they had seriously considered making a tank. Looking the fool. And Gosetsu can even be a tank samurai if you do the duty support with him. Divining 5-card. Divining. Divinations, huh? Yeah, one thing I mentioned, my character was kind of a bard type, so he's very much a kind of whatever will be kind of person. That said, I'm not sure how to justify the Reaper job. I believe when Stormblood hit, I immediately switched to Red Mage because it just synergized me so well. Meanwhile, Ninja was getting more and more off global cooldown skills that you had to weave, and that was proving kind of a pain. Because remember, this was back when the Mudras were still done server-side, not client-side like they do now. That was change came in Shadowbringers, and frankly, it should have been a lot earlier, but whatever. And so, so yeah. Yeah, it was a bit too much, but Red Mage at the sweet spot. They started... I still love Red Mage, but they're starting to add a lot more off-global cooldowns to her. This expansion, pretty much everything they got was just another OGCD to weave in there, and they already felt like they had a bunch, especially since all of them just amount to does damage. They don't add to your meters or anything. I still like it, but it's just too much to keep up with. Yeah, that's probably why I ended up using Picto for the job, for the caster role quest instead of Red Mage like I did the past two. For melee, I always did like Samurai. In fact, for a while, I even did it for the dungeons because Red Mage is generally considered to be kind of clunky and weak in AoE, while being a bit better in single targets. So or rather, that's how it feels to play, not in terms of damage. Because in terms of damage, it's the weakest caster at the cost of, in exchange for having a lot more, party support, including a raise. Let's see here. May I have one? Can I have it? Oh yeah, I should probably go this way first to see another thing Prish has to say. Let's see here, what's another thing? I heard that ninjas were dodge tanks back then, but it's about as reliable as dodge tanking can be, I guess. Talk about the bar door. What? Why is this blocked off? There's supposed to be stairs here leading down up to the residential area. I swear, things get stranger here by the minute. I'll say, I can understand, like, a road to a residential district being closed off, but usually they still allow some level of traffic through because, you know, people who live there have to get there. Mithra, an adventurer. Well, I thought I knew all Mithra traveled through as of late. Where are you from, stranger? Eorzea, as it happens. Gridania? Oh, right. Like I said, I started as Archer, thus I began in Gridania. So imagine my feeling now that both those scions are gone. Most folks Passing through, hail from Sad, Donbrea, Bustock, or Windurst. Considering the state of Juno, though, seems strange is becoming a more common occurrence. I'd be lying if I said I'd heard of your homeland either, but it's not important right now. At times like this, we know we can be trusted. What sort of place is it? Maybe I can visit one day. Yeah, I think they had they had the nose and stuff like that, but they still had face paint. Yeah, you can even see it here. So yeah, the cat rays always had some level of face paint here. You know, I want to say that they even beat Elder Scrolls, but then I remember, oh no, Arena was way beforehand. So yeah, it might have been... You'd be surprised how much Western RPGs have had an influence on JRPGs on the whole. Like, well, JRPGs as a very concept you can pretty much blame on Wizardry and Ultima. Those being some of the first computer RPGs. A lot... There's not too many retrospectives of them because, well, not only are they old, but they also have a lot of outdated gameplay and concepts, if we're blunt, so a lot of people just straight up don't have the patience for them. And while I could easily use that to go kids these days and get a bunch of upvotes for it, thing is, the Wild West of those years meant that it took a lot of trial and error for people to get what actually worked and what didn't, so it only makes sense there'd be a lot more mistakes, you know? The pioneers always have the toughest time compared to people, kind of like how Master Roshi took 50 years to master the Kamehameha wave while Goku got it in an afternoon. You press against the wall, but it refuses to budge. Won't open. Guess we won't be meeting Aldo. He's the head of Ten Shoto. When the world's in danger, he's always there. Lend me a hand. Reminds me of my friends, the Scions. Scions sound like a competent lot. Unfortunately, we're on our own here. Whatever's happening here, these people are just as bewildered as we are. We should head back to Bakul, see if he's noticed anything. I swear, if he's surrounded by an angry mob that's gonna try and attack him, I'm gonna be so pissed. Who's in here? Nothing, huh? Maybe this was the inn room all along. Thrifty Shade. Neptune Spire, applicants issue. Oh, I see. This is the Adventurers Guild of sorts. Kind of, or maybe the bar, like our place in Mordona. City's not all should be. What I wouldn't give for a drink right about now. You know what? That's a good idea. I'm gonna hydrate real quick. Ah, there we are. It wasn't when I went back to play Warcraft when I went to play Warcraft for the first time during Endwalker. I was surprised to see an auction house since I hadn't seen one in a while. The auction house, a lot of the games had stuff like auction house, but it won't surprise you that the reason they have a market board instead of one is because, well, it kind of works exactly as you expect. Most people just bought it out just set it for a buyout after a point. But interestingly, Prish mentioned that you could buy from player shops. Now that is a very old concept that I remember, but basically you'd have to buy either with real money or with in-game currency a permit, and you'd basically put a shop there for your items, kind of like how you do with kind of like what you can kind of do with housing with retainers, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, yeah. Only thing is there was designated spots for it, and so obviously it was most premium if you could get one right outside of town and stuff where people go by most, since they're gonna check those the most. Although if you want a good deal, you just have to check through as many as you can, because inflation hit MMOs just as hard back then as they do today. Returned at last, and with answers, I hope. Well, we have mostly more questions if we're blunt. So we're truly in this Juno, as she says. But I've traveled all over Tyrol and never heard of Juno or Sanador, Odria, or any of these other places. What's Altina's name in Tyrol? I thought you, Altana's name... What is... In Altana's name is Turol. I thought you Mamulja from Arija. Arija. Trish, you're alright. And she has you to thank, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I had to rough her up a little, but she could take it. Thanks for caring, I guess. Who are you exactly? Oh, I thought you knew who this was. Oh. He's the one who asked me to go out and look for you. I thought, he was a friend of yours. I appreciate the concern, but I've never seen him before in my life. How can you say such a thing? I mean, you do look like the sort I might know, but I'm drawing a blank. What's the name, mister? My name is... You must be the one they found in the Sky Deep Canode. Well, we can have to call you something. How about Alexol? What Alexol? Vagabond in the Mamulja tongue. Though it may be closer to adventurer in Coda Eorzean. Nicely chosen, brother. That does have a nice ring to it. Alright, Alexol it is. So where are we exactly? Juno, or at least a very close approximation. Surely you remember this place, don't you? It does feel familiar. Yeah, with an amnesiac ally here, it's gonna be rather difficult to get going. Sheesh. What's so special about this? Usually when they pull that card, that means that if he knew the full details, it would be highly inconvenient or give us too much information at the start. What's so special, and where did that damn shade get off to? Now this makes any sense. They did mention a different Galul. It could be another timeline of sorts. My, what a vexing predicament. Wait a minute, I know you. Hey, that's the one who put me under the spell, I'm sure of it. So, the Buniwa Sarkapant yet lives. What are you doing here? Ah, you found me in the most generous mood. I thought I might, as you found me in the most generous mood, I figured I might enlighten you as to the nature of this place. That's why you've come, is it not? The young lady is correct. This is the Grand Duchy of Juno. So we really are in Juno, and yet something feels very off. I imagine Juno normally isn't in the middle of a giant floating void. I never said that this was the real one. It's an imitation, a rather convincing one, I might add, which I created based on visions of another world. Wait, you built this? Is this where the vibes are at? Hello. Oh, welcome to the stream. Sorry, I was a bit caught up here. I guess so. We'll have to find out. That I did, while you and yours were holding the Dawn Servant's coronations. Zorolja and I ventured the gates of the Golden City. Everything was proceeding as planned. The gates keys in our possession. The power to reshape the world was within our grasp, or so I thought. In the eyes of the resilient sun, I was but a useless tool to be kept aside. By all rights, I should have died when he struck me down. But once the chamber was empty and the gate was open, I saw my chance. What I found when I dragged myself across the threshold was emptiness, a space beyond time. It was in this dark expanse where I beheld another world. This world was called Vana'diel. Huh. Looks really large and open. Like, what a load of rubbish. And if anyone were to believe what you... believe that, then everything and everyone here is little more than one of your toys. Ah. That's a cube. He turned to stone. As I said, everything you see here is of my creation. Much like we fashioned a phantom of Galul Jaja for the feet of Brotherhood, I was able to use our ceremonial tools to breathe life into the visions of Vana'diel. Under normal circumstances, my conjurings only have a strength for brief clash. With that stone, however, my magics are capable of so much more. Isn't that what Zoraldra used to build his army? Electrope, he called it. That's right. Electrope, you say? If you know its name, then I trust you also know these stones are possessed of immense power. Enough for my creations to persist as long as I please. So you stole technology and are trying to hold a grand fight for us. Fortunate then that the world between worlds is filled with structures made from Electrope. More than I could ever hope for. Wait, everything we see here, everything we believe is from Vana'diel is of you, we're making. Then does that mean, am I? Gods, that would mean I am as well. You? Yes, well, a trivial thread in a tapestry of my grand designs. Notice how he doesn't specifically say, yes, you are. He just says a trivial thread. He's very clearly not saying... Yeah, he didn't confirm it like he did the others. What a wondrous weevil bead made possible by endless possibilities gleaned in that walk of echoes. The memories buried there, the remnants of echoes will shape my dreams into reality. Okay, I'm starting to see why Zoral decided to kill this guy. He knew that this guy was going to betray him and decided to do it first. I once believed the dream lay in the resilient sun, but that bastard's dead to me. By my hand, Toral will have the greatest ruler the world has ever known. I've made an admirable start, but my work is far from finished. Okay, good. Even he knows that the shade isn't a match for me anymore. Very soon, I shall drop on these echoes once more and summon the greatest beings of Vana'diel, with their strength will be made... And their strength will be made one with this magnificent shade. The reason and resolve which built the nation of Tulioli matched with the uncompromising tyranny that commanded Mamulja of that world. If you listen to reason, maybe you'll listen to... I won't you'll never get away with this, and I'll make sure of it. Never get away with this, and I'll make sure of it. Even you know you're no match for my scythe. Well, that's the spirit. My preparation will take time, of course, but ready, be certain I will call upon you to bear witness to my greatness. Zorailjaw, wait. Rish. Damn it all. Just when I thought things couldn't become more complicated, making sense of Alexandria was trouble enough, but now we have this Vana'diel to deal with as well. I can only imagine how Prish and Alex all must be feeling. No, there's still something up with Alex all. Remember, he didn't just confirm it or nod like he did with Prish. He directly said, well, whatever. You're just... another thread in this tapestry. What do you do when your very existence is called into question? First he served that tyrant Zorailjaw, and now he dare usurp the throne with his pale imitation of the Dawn Servant, the sniveling wretch. This world was called Vana'diel. He looks upon Prish with painted eyes. Try as I might, I can recall nothing of my past to refute Zorailja's claims. Prish, on the other hand, seems to know everything of her past and who she is. Yet to be told the memories of your life are not your own, I can only imagine how she must feel. Now is not the time to be disheartened, at least not here anyway. I wouldn't trust anything made by Zorailjaw to be safe for long. Or to remain functional. Let's return to Mamook while we still can. My mother will want to know what we see in here. Well, even if Prish is a copy, that doesn't change that they seem to have self-awareness. Dang, we're having an attack of the clones here. Then again, I guess that's also kind of been the feel with how much of the political stuff we've had to deal with. This isn't the first time either. A lot of the Stormblood patch line had a lot of the Attack of the Clones feeling, or most of the time I felt like I just had to sit through a lot of the political stuff because our character is not silver-tongued in politics. We're called when it's time to hit something really hard. The end of ARR has certainly proved that, that's for sure. But yeah. It's interesting, I'll give it that, but it's also mostly just text. Then again, I guess that's thing Final Fantasy games are kind of known for, isn't it? So at least I can't fault them for not being on brand. Now that we've returned, I can see now that this isn't the Mamuka I once knew. I'm glad to see you and Bakul Jaja returned safely, and you brought a new guest. There you are. I thought you should be the one to explain what happened out there in Yaktel. Yeah, it's gonna... might want to sit down because this is gonna be a bit of a long one. Not so much simply another territory, but from another world entirely. That explains much of the initial confusion between us. My apologies for the trouble I've caused, and I thank you for taking me in. Different worlds, yet we seem to have so much in common. I can't help but wonder what links the two together. Almost as if the company was trying to recycle a bunch of assets. What indeed? You mistook us for the Mamulja of your Vana'diel where we first met. May I ask what they are like? Nothing at all like you and yours, even if they bear a striking resemblance. There was a time when all the people of Mamulja included knew peace, but a tyrant possessed terrible power claimed rulership over the Mamulja and turned them against us. Before we knew it, we were at war. Tales similar to ours in a way. The rare few of us born with two heads grow to be immensely powerful. That power is used to justify our preeminence over others. But that is not who we are anymore. We are far better than we can be better than our forebears, and we will be better. All of our hard work will be for nothing if Surreal succeeds in seizing the throne. Well, you'll not want for aid in stopping him, I promise you that. Oh, keen to lend a hand? I don't need to know who I am to know the right thing to do. My blade is yours. On my honor as an adventurer of Vana'diel, we'll put an end to Sarilja's schemes. If he were here, I'm sure he'd have done the same. Right then. We can worry about whether or not I'm real another day. I'm not gonna go around this Sarilja piss all over the memories of my home, so count me in as well. That's the spirit. Hey, don't forget about us. Hey, don't think you can forget about us. This all started in Yaktel, and we have a duty to keep our home safe. Sarilja left us without a trail, but it's only a matter of time before he reveals himself to challenge Koden once more. If you're ready, I think it prudent to the two of you learn more about our world. An excellent idea, brother. We should start with Tuliolol, steer on preparations while we're there. If you would meet us at the dirigible landing, we'll see Prishan exalt to Tuliolol. I've no doubt Alxol and Prish will be safe at your side. But do make sure Bakul Joja does not overexert himself. Yeah, I've been constantly comparing him to the Vegeta of the expansion. Throughout this expansion, I think that still holds accurate. Because Vegeta also started as an insane supervillain who eventually turned into a massive himbo. I mean, he'll never admit it, but that's what happened. I'll admit that this Yaktel is an area I really want to like a lot more. The blue area in the southern half is really nice, but while fate grinding, it really does feel like there's a lot of forest biomes. I'm guessing that's also why they have the blasted landscape here, to try and mix it up a little more. It's an appreciated effort, but I don't know. I guess I wanted to like it more than I actually ended up doing it. And there's my mount. They're adorable. I love them. And there's the hunt target. I wouldn't mind if that one became a mount at some point as well, but it's not often I'm able to grind as hard as I did for this one. I guess we're supposed to go this way then. Oh, I could have just returned a manual. Like, oh well, who cares? We're here to enjoy ourselves, so. We already got the fight over with, and I don't think they're going to have a duty fight here, so let's relax and wait back here. Those balloon-powered airships are really something. I didn't expect the flight to be so smooth. Yeah, Kana truly is a genius. So this is Tuliolol. Before I forget, I couldn't help but notice how much you seem to know about me. Is there anything else you remember? I'm afraid I don't. And as you don't recognize you either, perhaps we weren't acquaintances after all. What I know of you is likely overhead from a tavern, patrons sharing stories of your famed exploits. Well, oh, I see. Oh, let's leave it at that then. Has to be something, but... Now, where to begin? Brother, would it not be wise to first appraise the land's god of what happened, or would you prefer another stern lecture from the vow of reason? I'd sooner rip off our own tail. Fine. Could you keep them occupied a bit while we see the land god? Maybe take them to eat or something. I know, take them on teas and sample tacos. Here, for that first meal of yours, we spoiled. And just so we're clear, we're not expecting to earn your forgiveness. No amount of good deeds will undo our past, but there's always time to build a better future. You know what? If you're going to make up for those tacos, I'm willing to take the first step. When you get there, tell her we sent you. She'll see that everything's taken care of. I hope she might remember me, but she doesn't even seem to know me. Gods, who am I? Aunt T's tacos, huh? Let me guess, they serve tacos? Glad you have that in Vana'diel. Oh, I can hardly wait. I ate tacos all the time back home. Well, that's good. Tacos need to be universal. It would be disappointing if Vana'diel didn't have any. Though I suppose it wouldn't hurt to take the more scenic route. Maybe something along the way to help jog Exol's memory? Ah. Walking the streets of an unfamiliar city. Feels like I'm back on an adventure. The diversity of people here is unlike anything I've ever seen in Vana'diel. I can't tell you what relief it is to know everyone here can get along. Yeah, but it was for Galul's hard work that made it happen. Although interesting, if the Galul in 11 was a warmongering leader, then interesting that this one was a peacekeeper who was basically a version of us from Turol, basically. Or at least that's the vibe I was getting. I have no problem taking the longer route with these guys. I could use a leisurely pace. Those creatures remind me of the Chocobos in Vana'diel. To say we adventurers found them indispensable would be no exaggeration. From shore to shore, there are faithful companions wherever the road might lead us. Ah, well, you'll be happy to know they exist in this world as well. They just don't live in this particular region. What in Altena's name is that? Do people ride those things? Chocobo's the only beast I've ever seen used for riding in Vana'diel. If they have any, I'd sure like to see them. Oh yeah, Chocobos are all everywhere, just not in this particular region of the world. Alexol, isn't it really hot running around in that armor? I mean, I guess I'm technically running around in military uniform, but it's also not very thick. Oh yeah, I should also get some repairs while I'm here. Looks like it's next to a good spot anyways, so it works out. The beach. The Gleam Sands. My home's surrounded by ocean too, you know. It has the most beautiful views on a clear day. Not without the occasional monster, though. It's nice being able to walk around this without your guard up all the time. I can't say why, but I remembered looking out at the sand dunes. There was a man by the docks who claimed he could teach me new battle arts, but he would only agree to the condition I retrieved from a damselfly worm, apron, and magic skull. I don't suppose you met anyone travels who's made such odd requests. Okay, now that is oddly specific. I'm willing to bet that's based off a quest that was actually in Final Fantasy XI. And based off my knowledge of MMOs, one you could probably get right away or / buy off the market board without the auction house or whatever with no particular difficulty. One takes a bit of work but isn't going to take but still doesn't take that long to get. And one is a right pain in the ass to get, possibly involving farming a lot of something else to exchange for it. I need to get all my gear repaired after that rough fight anyways. I'm sure it'll be easier in time as I start to memorize everything. And like I said, I'm really glad that I did the Silda Subterrane first, because I was not expecting it to be like that. I was not expecting it to reuse mechanics like that, but that made it easier for me to figure that out. That's also why I feel like a moron for failing any of Krish's mechanics. They're actually quite easy. The difficult fights are the later two. I know nobody except me cares, but you know how it is. You'll always be your worst critic. Bayside Bevy. So there's a market at Sotuliolol. There are many stands, I wouldn't know where to begin. It's enough to make my head spin. Some fruit sure would hit the spot. No, Prish, remember, you're about to eat tacos. I happened to spy a few goblins on the way to market. I remember living in the major cities of Vana'diel as well. Of course, there was no shortage of unscrupulous sorts living in the wilds as well. They would gather in droves and give chase to adventurers, forcing everyone to retreat back to the safety of town. I should probably at least unlock the levs here, just so that quest stops being an annoying marker. I don't really like lev quests, so I don't really do them. Although, I am aware that because it takes 7 years and I've been playing for 10, yeah, if I'd actually been keeping up with it, I'd already be done now, so I try not to think about it. But then again, I guess not everyone's meant to do all content. Sometimes you just gotta do with what vibes with you personally. This is the place, right? I can sell the savory meats already. Ah, you must be Auntie. Bakul Jaja recommended we sample your tacos. 3 of the finest, please. Bakul Jaja said you. Take a seat. I'll be over with a tray of the world-famous fare. Tacos long last. Oh, I've waited for this moment. I thought nothing could match the rich flavor of our tacos back home, but the spicy seasoning of this meat is really something else. Hey, this meal's on Bakul, so don't hold back. Krish is taking the lead, but we can't be outdone, surely. Phew, I couldn't eat the bite. Thanks for treating us. Hey, thank Bakul. It's almost like home. Tavnazia. Seeing as we have a little extra time for ourselves, care to hear more about Vana'diel? Sounds good to me. Let's see how it is as someone who's never played. I did consider playing through prior to this like I did for the Nier series before the Nier raids, but since that's another MMO, it's going to take way too long to go through, and I already have a lot to keep up with as it is. 20 years ago, the land was gripped by terrible conflict, the Crystal War they called it. It wasn't long before my home was drawn into the struggle as well. During their assault on the peninsula, the Beastmen launched a weapon so powerful it sundered the land connecting us to the mainland. Those who survived fled the Tizvarian safehold. It wasn't much, but we were able to piece together a modest living down those caves. Sorry, I'm spoiling the mood a bit, aren't I? Your adventure too. Have you any tales of daring you wish to share with us? Perhaps I should show you the adventure of my artifacts I've been going with lately. Or perhaps when I traveled... Well, I should know I should work up to the end of the universe one. Probably shouldn't start with the one where I went to another reflection either. Well, one step at a time, one step at a time. Let's start with the Dragon Song War. Having other worlds, saving this one for the very embodiment of despair. Wow, really? You're not just an adventurer, you're a damn living legend! Hero, huh? And living legend? Is Uxol the avatar of the player character for Final Fantasy XI? Kinda like how Ardbert is generally treated as the mascot and for the stand-in for the player character for this game. Sorry for the wait. There was much to appraise the Landsguard of, as you well know. That Surreal Jaw has behind stolen relics and the sightings of Galul was understandably difficult for them to hear. And yet there are others enticed by the rumors of a strange portal in the woods. I've heard some foolhardy treasure seekers have even gone off in search of it. Oh dear. A dangerous thought, knowing Surreal could show up at any time with more of those echoes. Which is why I'm going back to Juneau to make sure our people stay out of there. I guess I'll go. If you're going, then so are we. It beats messing around waiting. Maybe we should bring Wuklamon, that other friend of yours, Kryl, is it? I'm fairly certain I've had nausea and tacos before. They are famous for their heartiness and help stave off fatigue, perfect for those who often found themselves on the defensive in battle. God, those tacos are bloody brilliant. There's nothing better than good food and good company to pass the time. As soon as Bakul gives the word, we'll head off. Juneau. Bakul's ready to return to Juneau. Would that we had time to show you more of Tuliolol, but we cannot afford to have anyone wandering about in Juneau. Then let us make haste to Yoctel. Honestly, I think it might be easier to go to Ilbrox and then go south from there. I guess while I'm gonna be flying for a while, let's see other jobs I like. I've really come around on White Mage for healing. I do like Astro as well, but it's hard to screw up White Mage while the timing for Astro can be a bit tight for the cards. Still, both of them are really good if you're scared of healing, simply because they have so many emergency oh shit heal buttons. I do like Sage conceptually, but in Scholar I try and avoid because I barely play healer as it is, and a mitigation healer is generally best when you already know a fight inside and out, so you can minimize damage from the first place. Especially since Sage has the least amount of oh shit emergency heals casters. I end up liking Black Mage and Summoner a bit more than expected, but I'm not sure if I'd prefer them over Red Mage and Picto. But I'm glad to have all those casters up. I really should stop being lazy and get Blue Mage up, if only because it'll be easier. Viper, I'm surprised. I thought I would have liked it. I don't dislike it, but neither it nor Picto felt good enough to be main. Dragoon I did like, although I'm not sure how much I enjoy the changes to, Nastrand. It's not a big deal, though, but I guess it is relevant, since if I ever feel like playing Dragoon, well, it shares gear with Reaper, so I can use most of my stuff with it. Monk, I feel a lot better about since the changes, because before it was just really juggling like 3 different meters, 3 different separate timers, and I didn't enjoy that as much. And Ninja I do like, yeah, especially since it's not nearly as GCD heavy as it used to be. I mean, it still kind of is, but not as the days when I decided to quit it. I can't speak for myself, but the idea of running headlong to a mysterious rift to gods nowhere source of treasure seems absurd. Thrall has no shortage of legends, like the city of Gold Inspire would be treasure seekers. No risk is too great if they believe the dreams can be realized. Effort's better spent than on a more honest living, I'd say. Walking the noble path like you, brother. In any case, whoever we find there, we have to get them out, and quickly. Lower Juno. And what if this weird shadow thing decides to gobble you up? You know, this guy obviously can't be there because there was no Hrothgar in Final Fantasy XI. There was no beast races at all. And even here, they were mostly just because the Ronso were the, well, they're straight up called Ronso in the first, but yeah. As a brawl thief. When I jumped through that rift, I was expecting a dungeon or a labyrinth, not whatever this is. It's dangerous, I need to leave. Don't make me laugh. Not long ago, I heard someone crawling through the streets about somewhere stone. Like we were the fortune. I'm not going anywhere with those riches just for the taking. You're not fooling anyone. You just want it for yourself, but I'm not leaving till I found it. Wow, there's a lot more people here than I thought. You don't mean to threaten you, but you do need to leave. This place is more dangerous than it looks. Never seen a city like this in Thrall before. Excuse me, this is quite dangerous. You should probably leave. Dangerous to say. I should probably hold off further surveying. A shame. I happened upon a rather curious stone I hoped to take with me, but it was stolen by some Tatawan brute. Without knowing the value of the stone, I can't say if it's worth giving chase, but he ran south if you mean to go after. I'll be leaving now. If it's dangerous to say, I hope you'll be leaving soon as well. Oh, believe me, that is the plan. I can't exist here because I can't exist in the world of Final Fantasy XI. Not only there are no male, not only do male Mithras not exist, but neither do my mains. I guess I could. I don't even know how they'd play actually. Like I like Samurai here because it has some really strong burst damage, but if it's still a tank after all these years, I don't know. I mean, I could be tank, but then I realized, oh no, there's no Gunbreaker there either. I mean, there is Dark Knight, but to my understanding, they use scythes, which is a shame. They can still use great swords, though. Maybe. I do know that. Oh, but there aren't tanks there either. They're actually DPS because they eat HP for damage. Well, that's mildly frustrating. I realize how preposterous it must seem, but now this is all real. Amulja created this place. Came looking for fancy trinkets too. Feast your eyes on this. That's the Electrope cube from before. Spoke out to anyone who would listen, though few were too stubborn. Though a few were too stubborn to heed our warnings. A block of raw electro, but how? I take it you're the one who found this? I'm sorry, we can't let you leave with that stone. It is too dangerous. It might destroy you. You expect me to just hand it over? This isn't Tuliolo. You have no authority. I found it. I'm keeping it. I'm pretty sure if we just say it has a chance of actually killing you, that might turn him around. Generally, if you say you can't... Generally... how can I put this? The reason reverse psychology works a lot is because people hate hearing that they're not allowed to do something for no reasons. They don't like to be limited. But if they're given a reason why, in this case, that could actually kill you, that gives them a reason, because they don't feel like they're being restricted, more that they have the freedom to do so, but it would be incredibly unwise. This is for your own good. Put it down and walk away, or else. Careful, brother. Lay a hand on the Volverzol. We'll never listen to hear the end of it. We're already in our debt as it is. Fine. Here we come to make you fortunate. Let me pay you for it. You can certainly save me the trouble finding a suitable buyer, but don't expect to let it go for cheap. We couldn't help it over here. You're selling an artifact found. Whatever this gentleman's pay, I'll assure you I'll pay you more. Oh, great, just what we needed. What do we do now? Explaining the circumstances surrounding this place would likely take more time than we can afford. Yeah, this is a decent time for a lie. Yeah. Oh, the auction house. He's gonna use that. Ah, of course. Why not hold the stone, an auction for the stone? An auction? That would simplify matters. It would save you the trouble of bargaining with all these interested parties separately and incentivizes them to pay you handsomely, lest they outbid. Fine by me, but I'll only be accepting payments of gil. The money will be taking me overseas where I can live the life I've always wanted. My work's been turning a tidy profit, so I've got coin to spare. I'll offer every last gil if I have to. The stone will be mine. An auction should hopefully make it easier but cool, assuming you can outbid the competition. Assuming Alexal was inspired by the nearby auction house, still that was quick thinking. Let's hold the auction already and get this over with. The following events cannot be skipped. You may wish to cancel any pending registrations. Begin the quest event? Sounds good to me. Because you handle the bidding, we don't have much experience with these, but we do have the coin you can use. Around 1 million saved up from our work with Landsguard. Hopefully that'll be enough. Upon speaking auction, you may also speak with the other, receive hints regarding the potential bids. I have no time for back and forth bargaining. I just need one bid to bid that stone. Foreign merchants relieved me of my stock a few moons past, and it's a good thing they did. 1,500,000, and I was forced to spend half of it in preparation for this expedition. So they have 750 left. While it's imperative we recover the Electrope, it wouldn't do to show your hand too early. Better be conservative with your bids, just staying just ahead of the competition. Yeah, I've learned the hard way. You need to be very careful with bidding, because if you bid too much at once, people outbid instantly. Damn, I wish I had money to join in. Seems like fun. Me when my friends go to cons. We've got 1 million all told, but I'm just thinking you won't need to spend all of it. What's your offer? Auction house begun. Outbid your competitors while conserving capital. Right then, how much will you start with? We're starting low, 100,000. Is that all? I'll start with 400,000. 400,000. I was hoping to keep at least half, but if you have to bid more. A bold move, but I'm willing to bet that's all you have. 560,000 gil. Half my savings gone. Surely they're close to conceding, right? Like 100? How's anyone meant to compete with that? Out of the running. Good. Then I'll be at 700,000. We know he has a cap of 750,000. Only one left now, but I don't think he'll give up without a fight. 710,000 gil. Shit, I've come too far to back down. 720. Rising a bit by a narrow margin. Someone's reached their limit. Yeah, we know he has a 700... So, we could go with 800,000 and bid him, but I know we can just go slight. Fine, it's over. You have a knack for business dealings. Maybe you were a merchant in another life. Nah, I've just failed a bunch of other auctions. Oh, that looks to be all of it. The stone's yours. That was more expensive than I would have liked, but nothing a few hunt bills can't make up for. I hope. Hey, if you're selling materia from the nuts you get from hunt bills, that actually you should get a decent amount of that back. As far as it looked, I'm sure it made a mess of things that were me. I tend to get carried away a little under pressure. Well done, my friend. Now let's have a look at that electrope. Technically speaking, you also want to bid when you're extremely close to the auction's end for one of those silent auctions, but... or if you're going like eBay or something, but obviously this is in person. Oh, this presence feels familiar. The Shadow Lord. No mistaking that deep and bitter malice. That stone must have served as the heart of the Shadow Lord's echo. He was a being of pure hatred, responsible for bringing about the Crystal War. I was part of the company that would eventually bring his reign of terror to an end. You helped defeat the Shadow Lord? Me and Alex almost have been there with him, but I don't remember hearing about that. In any case, I will hold on to the electrope. We should hurry back and get back to the Landsguard. Excuse me, were you speaking of the Shadow Lord just now? Yeah, do you know anything about him? If there's more you wish to know, perhaps I can be of help. I've heard many tales of the fiend from which the bards frequent taverns here in Juneau. I've been waiting over the yonder fountain for my companions to arrive, but you're welcome to speak with me until they do. I imagine the fountain might have been where people hung out if it was a common place for people to hang out. Most welcome offer, though there's much to be said for first-hand encounter with the echo in question. Perhaps we can revisit these tales another time after we've made certain no more treasure hunters already gain entry. Let's return to Tuliol and speak with the Landsguard. Coda, come and meet us at the Bright Bloom Post. Ah, there you are. If you have any burning questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Tell me about Fafnir. The great dragon that slumbers in the depths of the Yoda tree? Yes, I know of it, as does anyone who dares venture into Zeta. Stories of a great hero did battle with the dragon, their harrowing encounter concluding their strike with the fabled blade Vana'diel. If only they hadn't missed their strike at its heart. If only they hadn't missed their mark. The blade is said to remain nestled in the beast's bosom even to this day. To survive such a blow, to live for all these years, bespeaks the strength I'd imagine. And yet, tales of its might have not deterred the brave and foolhardy from venturing there. Hopeful they can slay Fafnir and claim its spoils. Few have reached the dragon's eyrie and lived to tell about it. And I recall some mention that Nidhogg was also a recolor of that particular model, but yeah, there's going to be overlap no matter what, but Nidhogg is the main villain of Heavensward, no matter how much it keeps insisting, no matter how much the game itself insists it was Thornton. And Fafnir was just a boss in Eureka, so if there's going to be some overlap, best to go with the Eureka boss that many probably haven't even seen. About the Archangels. Now this one I've actually seen in some screenshots and discussions of long before they arrived in this game. I've heard stories of the 5 warriors clad in black. If the fates are kind, I'll never have the poor fortune to cross paths with them. They were not born but forged from crystal, assuming these legends are true. The Dawn Goddess, as Altana, wept 5 tears that gave birth to the 5 races: Hume, Elvan, Tarutaru, Mithra, and Galka. The Archangel is said to be the embodiment of all their sins. Darn. I guess the Sin Eaters were doing us a favor by preventing that. Our versions of these guys are called apathy, cowardice, envy, rage, the darkness that lurks within us all. No one's certain why they were created. A prevailing theory is they served as guardians of some ancient paradise. Ah, there you are. The Shadow Lord himself. The great darkness of the Northlands, hatred made manifest. There's not a soul in Vana'diel who doesn't know of the Shadow Lord. His soul desires to bring about the extinction of Altana's children, so he rallied together the Beastmen, inciting what came to be known as the Crystal Wars. The Beastmen assault were merciless, and it was not long before Baston's son, Odrea, and Windurst were brought to their knees. It was only after Archduke Camelot convinced them to join forces with the Duchy of Juno they gained momentum needed to push back. United as the Alliance of Altana, they would eventually drive the Beastmen back from their lands, soon found themselves going on the offensive in Zarkabard. The Alliance proved victorious, though not without a great many sacrifices. Peace has been restored to Vana'diel, for a time at least. The Shadow Lord was somehow resurrected 20 years later, but thankfully he was slain before the Beastmen could be emboldened to take arms a second time. Sounds like an expansion just brought him back for a quick fight then. There's much speculation to his origins. Many believe he was once a Galka, if you can believe it. He was betrayed by one of his companions, mortally wounded and left to die. A dear friend of his was also said to have been cut down in the altercation. He succumbed to his wounds, but his rage and despair would remain, giving life to the Shadow Lord. If what you say is true and he's returned, perhaps the flames of his hatred can truly flames of his hatred truly can never be extinguished. Yourself. Me, I'm no adventurer of any particular renown, if that's what you're expecting. Just a man from Bastok looking to see more of the world. While lacking fame and make for and strength of numbers, I've no shortage of friends willing to accompany me in pursuit of riches I seek out via Link Pearl. The armor I wear is proof of our accomplishments, salvaged from the depths of the Alzadal undersea ruins. That said, I treasure my time with them more than any trinket or bauble. You'll understand, surely. Yeah, that is the main thing about older, early MMOs. While it does suck that there's a lot less socializing going on due to lack of raid finder, due to the existence of things like the dungeon finder and stuff like that, it also means you don't have to sit for hours at a time in front of the dungeon calling people out because you had to actually enter the dungeon at the entrance to actually go in. And of course, if anything went wrong, it'd be even longer because the alternative of just abandoning them and going back was a lot more work than just finding them. So, then again, I guess that's kind of... Actually, I'm maybe I'm overthinking it. The thing that killed MMO sociality is not the duty fighter, raid finder, whatever you have. It's Discord, Skype, and all those instant messaging things, because you don't really have a reason. The reason in-game chat was so popular in those old MMOs was because there was no more convenient ways to do it. This was the days when message boards were the most easy and convenient way to talk to other people, and often that means you need to leave a post there and wait for days for them to come to see if anyone responded if you want to talk with anyone. If you're lucky, they might have had private messages, but that's about all you would get. But MMOs having a live chat, that was almost unheard of. So yeah, it's not the duty finder, it's not the MMOs themselves that did I'd argue it's not the MMOs themselves that did much that caused the reduction of socializing. It's the fact that more convenient ways to talk than the in-game chat more than anything else. I mean, you can argue those have contributed, but I'd still argue the biggest is the rise of Skype, Discord, TeamSpeak, and things like that. Oh, Tuliyola all time. My return is still set to Tuliyola. I should probably set it to somewhere else, but who cares? Oh, at the Landsguard area, so I can just warp there from here. The Quetzali armor right now is the Landsguard uniform, so if you like these are currently what the capped tomes have to offer you. Oh, I probably shouldn't have spoken to Prish first. Oh, whoops. So well. Once again, we're left with nothing but time on our hands until Surreal just shows himself. I suppose there's no shortage of work to be done if we ask the Landsguard. You may be better served exploring Tyrol, familiarizing yourself with the land. It wouldn't do to find yourself lost when you're needed most. An honest to God's adventure! What a great idea! You're coming with me, Alexol, and don't you dare say you're not interested. Any self-respecting adventurer would jump at a chance like this. I'll not deny the suggestion piques my interest. We warn you now, though, the winds of Tyrol are rife with danger. There's no place for the unprepared. I welcome the challenge. Ha 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 ha. I can hardly count the number of times Vana'diel's been visited by some world-ending calamity, but no matter how dire things get, we always found a way through together. This'll be no different, I'm sure of it. There's nothing we can't do as long as we have each other. A band of adventurers barely met, united in the face of great peril, just like old times. Our adventure is always so sentimental? Is that such a terrible thing? There he is. The moment we learn anything about Surreal Jaw's movements, I've asked him to come contact you. Sounds good to me. I imagine it'll be at least a couple more patches before that happens, but nonetheless, it's appreciated. Now I need to do more hunts just because that's the easiest way to get the upgrade materials for my gear. And that'll last me pretty much until the next tome rotation, which is going to be the 0.2 patch. Now, ooh, is there going to be meanwhile, yep, meanwhile, the Echo of Tulia. Yeah, soon we shall slaughter them all. Is that not so, Surreal Jaw? Soon, my Dawn 7, very soon. There should be none to stop you from taking your rightful place upon the throne. Fortunate for me, he lacks the wisdom of the true Dawn Servant. But if he'll be made fit to rule, I must choose from the echoes carefully. The Shadow Lord showed promise, but Vana'diel is a land of rich history. I needn't settle for those who are but a blink of an eye in the annals of history. With the strength of the ancients, I'll bring Tyrol. I'll bring Tyrol. No, the entire world to its knees. No, I think I'm actually with Zeralja on this one. He should have just knifed him in the back and ran, rather than just knocking him off the edge. So it seems that, yeah, he was indeed the backstabbing right hand the entire time, and that's why he wanted to be sure the Dawntrail would always be someone he could easily manipulate. And as a quick reminder, in the main story, it was ultimately him asking a quote-unquote discussion with Bakul that happened right before Bakul became significantly more aggressive, notably including kidnapping Waklamat. So, yeah, it's pretty obvious he's behind a lot of... Well, Zoalja is absolutely, unquestionably evil, and if we're honest, I'm really glad they didn't go back on that with a post-mortem redemption or anything. Yeah, he was just always evil. It's just that, this guy was also evil. But I suppose that's going to be all for tonight. Alright, well, until next time, thank you for watching, hope you had a good time, and I'll see you later.